Every passing day, I just get more and more justified. It's insane. Trump says he is strongly considering pulling the U.S. out of NATO. The Telegraph. This is massive. All right, just to understand, I've been saying this for years. Because the U.S. has been funding NATO forever. All right, not exaggerating. We are NATO. All right, we give them 70% of their weaponry and 70% of their money. And they're not going to help us when we need them in Iran? Oh, get absolutely cooked. I am way too Jewish to be giving my money to NATO, and they do nothing. Worst return of investment ever. They are getting absolutely cooked, and Russia is laughing. That's right. Russia's going to end up cooking Europe, and there's nothing that Europe could bitch to us about because it's all their fault. Trump dropped a nuke. England, Spain, and Australia are all crying, releasing little apologies, and doubling down to their Islamist overlord voting base. Honestly, there's so much vindication in this video, I couldn't even contain it. I am literally with family. I plan to take a few days off, and I'm recording this in my car. Lock in, boys and girl. Let's dive right into it. So it all started when Donald Trump threatened to leave NATO. Trump says he's strongly considering pulling the U.S. out of NATO. And he dropped a couple of tweets. Honestly, this man's penmanship is getting better and better. All of those countries who can't get jet fuel because the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number 1, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. Number 2, build up some delayed courage. Go to the Strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore. Just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. President DJT. Absolute cinema, and he is completely and utterly correct. We did not actually close the Strait of Hormuz. All right, this is a very, very large, in my opinion, cognitive dissonance that the entire world is doing, and I'm actually going to tell you the right way, because the world convinces you to be a retard, and I'm here to convince you not to be a retard. Now, the retard opinion is the United States caused the Strait of Hormuz to close, and now oil prices are higher. That is the retard opinion. The actual reality is, for the last 47 years, there was a terrorist regime running Iran, threatening us, killing thousands of us, killing hundreds of British people too, by the way, tens of thousands of their own people, and millions in the region. They were trying to develop nukes, and we had to stop them. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. They started laying mines and bombing ships in the Strait of Hormuz, which is next to them, which is actually a war crime, a violation of international law, despite the fact that you're not going to see the UN actually talking about this. They actually don't really care. It's almost like they're completely pro-Islam and bought off by Islam. It's almost like 25% of the UN is Muslim-majority countries, and all the European countries are slowly but surely becoming more Muslim-majority countries. It's almost like the UN is literally going to do anything that they possibly can to hamper the enemies of Islam, like Israel, like the United States. And it's almost like I don't give a flying fuck about what the UN's little gay opinions are. This is an existential, civilizational battle that we are fighting, and it is one that we are going to win. We did what we had to do. We killed terrorists that have been trying to kill us. Now, if they decide that they're going to commit war crimes and shit and violate international law and start bombing ships in the Strait of Hormuz, that is solely on them, all right? So you could stop bitching and complaining to us that we did what we needed to do, which was America's first priority, operating on behalf of America, and now these retards are going to bomb ships and you guys are going to cry about it? You should go fucking do something about it. Stop blaming us, all right? I love how these people say, we have nothing to do with this war. Why are we getting dicked over by the Iranian terrorists? Well, we have nothing to do with why you guys are getting dicked over with the Iranian terrorists. This is the leftist argument that just says that human beings don't have agency. Actually, when they commit acts of terror against you, maybe you should fucking fight back instead of bitch and cry that daddy United States is going to take care of you. Sorry, that ship has sailed, all right? And in fact, Trump dropped another one. Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, and just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. This is what we call groveling. It's very nice and very appreciated. We will consider, though, when the Hormuz Strait is open, free and clear, until then we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or as they say, back to the Stone Ages, President DJT. Very good stuff. The thing is, they have to capitulate to all of our demands, or they're gonna fucking die. That's the consequences to being terrorists. That's right, death. Killing terrorists is awesome, actually. A lot of people are gonna tell you, no, killing terrorists is bad. No, killing terrorists is awesome, and they're all retarded. You don't need to, flow with the delusions of the masses when the masses are delusional. Killing Charlie Kirk? Oh, well, that was awesome, according to literally most of the left. killing terrorists that have massacred 40,000 people. War crime! Violation of international law, please! We stand with the Ayatollah! And the next Ayatollah. I just received word that the previous Ayatollah is dead. And the new Ayatollah as well. So this keeps escalating, actually. Just in, France reportedly denied use of its airspace to U.S. military flights. And this is great for another reason. You'll see in a second. The country of France wouldn't let planes headed to Israel loaded up with military supplies fly over French territory. France has been very unhelpful with respect to the butcher of Iran, who has been successfully eliminated. The USA will remember President DJT. All right, so literally all the gears are turning. All the gears are turning to basically get us to leave NATO, to get us to cut ties with these honestly, absolutely ungrateful retards that have been taking advantage of us for a very long time. And here's the crazy part. So you might remember this. This was in the World Economic Forum like 2 months ago when Donald Trump said this. He literally predicted this exactly, which is insane.
And we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable.
Uh-oh.
But I won't do that.
What a nice guy.
Okay.
This is in regards to him taking Greenland. All right. He's going to say, listen, I could take Greenland if I wanted to. I'm not going to use excessive force to take Greenland.
Hey, now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force.
That's right. He doesn't have to do anything. Actually, things just happen to those who wait. It's pretty beautiful if you think about it, actually. And it might actually happen now.
All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland.
That's all.
Where we already
just
had
Greenland.
It as a trustee, but respectfully returned it back to Denmark not long ago after we defeated the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, and others in World War II.
We were badass.
To them.
We were gay for giving it back to them, but we were badass for winning the war. This is why imperialism is kind of based, actually. Actually, we should have just kept Greenland, it turns out.
We were a powerful force then, but we are a much more powerful force now. After I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so today, we have a budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships. The battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II. Those great, big, gorgeous ships, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than
kind of badass, by the way.
Big, magnificent pieces of art that you saw so many times ago that you still see on television. You say, wow, what a force. 100 times, each ship 100 times.
That's right,
more
we're actually badass.
Than the big battleships of the past. So that was the end of the mothball story.
Well, that was good.
So what we have gotten out of NATO is nothing.
There it is. So he said this 2 months ago in regards to taking Greenland. He said we need Greenland because we can't trust NATO to let us use it in a war.
Except to protect Europe from the Soviet Union and now Russia. I mean,
that's right. And that's what all of NATO has been. NATO has just been us protecting you and you being bitches about it and voting against us on everything. In the UN, we condemn Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a fascist. We condemn the United States. The United States is evil. How dare they do these things unilaterally? Unilaterally? Why do we fucking owe you anything? But we're part of NATO. I can't believe you went and took Venezuela's dictator Maduro without telling us before. Telling you before? And what would have happened if we would have told you before? Would you have helped? I doubt it. All right, so the reality is Greenland is back on the table. Turns out we can't trust NATO to actually be our ally. Now, Israel, our actual ally, ironically, our real allies right now are Israel, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Argentina, El Salvador, Japan. Like, these are our actual allies, ironically. Israel stops all defense deals with France because Israeli tech is actually really fucking good. And they've basically been helping France out with their defense because France has been gay and not involved in any battles. All right, Israel is. So France is literally killing itself out of existence. It's losing its actual tactical partners because it wants to do this gay little fucking, I am actually on the right side of history. That's what my Muslims told me, and they control me, so it must be true. So Marco Rubio made a very short, concise statement, basically laying everything out, and it's really fucking good.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now?
I honestly, a lot of Americans are dumb because they read the media, and the media tells them that we don't know why we're attacking Iran.
Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is, you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains.
Yeah, not
away
something
from the
an
public
innocent
glare.
person would do.
And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down.
You mean to tell me the terrorists lied?
Now? Well, what was Iran trying to do?
Lied?
Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons.
That's right.
And under no circumstances
it's that simple.
Can they be allowed to hide and protect that program.
And actually, and a lot of people saying, but it's technically not an imminent threat. Who fucking cares? They're trying to build nukes with the goal of killing us. They're chanting death to America. They've killed thousands of us. No one's denying that they would use the weapon to kill us. You fucking kill them first. I hate these radical, suicidal, leftoid idiots. 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 Did I mention idiots? It's unbelievable needing to deal with these people. They literally want New York to get nuked before we respond. What the fuck, man? I mean, to be fair, New York is already conquered. LA to get nuked first.
And their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about. Yeah. This was our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat, that conventional...
Yes! While they're weak and gay. That's right. While they have a gay Ayatollah, we're gonna bomb them to hell. That's right. And it's awesome, actually. But actually, imminent threat. I don't give a fuck about your little nose rings and your septum piercings and your rules. All right? I don't care that your hair is blue and that you're gay. None of it's relevant. I don't care what is going on in your pants. The only thing I care about is that we don't get exterminated by radical Islamist retards. And now they're fucking dead, and it's awesome, actually.
Shield that they were trying to build.
And we'll do it when they're the weakest. But it's not a fair fight. Fuck no, it's not a fair fight. We are way stronger, and we let them know that we are way stronger. And now they're dead, and it's awesome.
And the president made the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about never, ever having nuclear weapons.
That's right. Actually, we need to fucking kill terrorists, actually. That's the reality, and it's pretty awesome, all right? And terrorists are dead, and that's great. So a lot of retards don't understand this somehow. But the good news is it seems like the United Arab Emirates is planning on opening the Strait of Hormuz by force with other allies after Trump said, fend for yourselves. Wow, it seems like all of a sudden actual competent countries like the UAE or Saudi Arabia are actually willing to do shit. All right, the reality is, and this is where the entire world is wrong, and the leftoids and everyone, the Strait of Hormuz being closed is not our fault. It's because Iranian terrorists are doing war crimes and terrorism. That's why it's closed. And the fact that we shouldn't deal with these people before they're strong enough to actually not let us do anything about it is so fucking obvious. You people are retarded. Just in, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Iran no longer poses a threat to Israel's existence. Damn, that's crazy. Holy shit. Now, Iran, the moral entity, according to the left, is using children in security roles in war because, you know, they're actually fucking terrorists that use child soldiers. Oh my God, I can't believe there were child civilian casualties. Well, let me let you know who the child civilian casualties are very often. It's these dumb fucks. All right? It's these cocksucking retards that take children and put them in military roles. Are we supposed to just let them kill us? Well, I mean, Europe is like, yeah, actually. Now, obviously, we're seeing some radical demoralization from within. We have satellite images of Iranian terrorists throwing themselves off buildings, all right, knowing that their end is coming, right? Now, that is demoralization on a whole other level. Now, the Donald has been dropping nukes in the Oval Office, too.
On gas prices, today they hit $4.
We have $4, yeah, and we have a country that's not going to be throwing a nuclear weapon at us.
I love when people do that. But gas prices are high. Yeah, we know. Yep, that's the cost of, preventing a country that wants us dead to get a nuclear weapon. Yep, that's part of the game. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can disagree with it, but we know the game you're playing.
Of course, but Americans are feeling the effects in the interim.
And they're also feeling a lot safer.
What is the plan to bring them back down?
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very soon. And they'll become
very soon. You mean to tell me it's not going to be a forever war? But I was literally told by a lot of brown people in the third world that this was a forever war because we're controlled by Israel. I was literally told that by Sneeko. Would Sneeko lie?
And stock prices were up today almost to a record because they know two things. Number one, we have a safe country. We had to take a little detour because we had a madman named Khomeini, who sadly is no longer with us.
Sadly. This is so sad. So sad. How did this happen? Did he have cancer? We will never know. Anyway, so Trump said we are leaving soon, right? We're leaving soon. Leaving soon, but Iran still has a vice grip on the Strait of Hormuz. What is that going to do?
We'll be leaving very soon, and if France or some other country wants to get oil or gas, they'll go up through the Strait and Hormuz Strait. They'll go right up there and they'll be able to fend for themselves. I think
that's right. Now, a lot of people don't understand the reality that we actually don't need to hold their hands and give them free shit. A lot of people don't even understand that the United States doesn't need to exist to be a fucking cow to be milked by Europe. All right? I'm not exaggerating. The entire world expects the United States to get on our knees and do literally everything for everyone. That us American taxpayers somehow need to make sure that England gets oil and to protect them from terrorists. Like, let's just understand. All right, the United States also needs to be moral and not allowed to take out narco-terrorists in Venezuela that have been flooding our country with drugs. And the United States also needs to give reparations of billions of dollars to Africa because black people sold black people as slaves and somehow that's our fault. All right, the United States does not owe jack shit to anyone other than the American citizens. All right, so I'm really tired and very satisfied, honestly, with Donald Trump saying this. I'm really tired of this narrative that because terrorists are stopping oil from flowing through the Strait of Hormuz, now we have to spend our money and our resources and our soldiers' lives to make sure that England and France get oil. It is literally not our problem. Our problem was a terrorist regime trying to get nukes to fucking kill us. We solved that problem. Now, whatever else happens, that's your problem.
I think it'll be very safe, actually, but we have nothing to do with that. What happens in the Strait, we're not going to have anything to do with because these countries, China will go up and they'll fuel up their beautiful ships and they'll leave and they'll take care of themselves. There's no reason for us to do it.
Totally true. Literally, why the fuck do we have to get involved with this infinite babying session? We don't. We literally don't. So Donald, he's been on fire. I love his new no fucks given attitude in regards to Europe because these guys have been sucking our blood for years. And we literally got the most obvious example of how they fucking hate us and they don't care about any of our struggles.
With what? What did they threaten them with? BB guns? Or?
Well, what did Iran threaten them with, really? BB guns? Bro, what exactly was the threat? Iran threatened U.S. tech companies. I love how Iran, every day, they come out with a new threat. And all the brownoids from Pakistan, they show up and they're like, holy fuck, dude. Holy shit. Iran is literally threatening the White House. Iran is threatening to blow up all of California. Iran just made a serious threat. Yeah, Iran's not doing fucking anything. They have no Air Force. They have no Navy. They're literally fucking cooked.
Not much left to threaten.
My question for you is, are you...
I don't know. I mean, what are they... You made a statement. What did they threaten them with? I don't know. Tell me, how did they threaten them?
Well, all I know is that they threatened them, sir.
All I know is they threatened them. Oh, I saw a strongly worded tweet come from Iran. Now it's national television. Donald Trump is handling this so fucking well, especially because the media runs with it. CNN, Iran threatened the U.S. tech companies. So CNN will be like, Iran threatened U.S. tech companies. This is very scary. It's Trump's fault, right? But a threat means fucking nothing if it can't be backed up.
What do you mean?
Fair enough.
He said something nasty.
Is the government in touch with these companies? Are you helping to backstop them?
You don't even know what the threat was. What was the threat?
What was the threat, sir? Please tell us.
Threat?
Tell us the
They
threat.
say they're going to blow them up. They're going to hit them. They're not. You know what they're not going to do? They're not going to hit them with a nuclear weapon.
Destroyed. It's so fucking over, bros. It's so over for these retards. It's literally media apocalypse. All right, and you know, Marco Rubio is actually asking the real questions.
When we need them to allow us to use their military bases, their answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars
That's right.
over the years, trillions of dollars,
right.
and all these American forces stationed
That's
in
right.
the region? If we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that.
We are going to have to re-examine the value of NATO. What is going on? What is this all about? Now, and to everyone saying that, well, Iran didn't actually pose a threat.
There's no use for 60% enriched uranium. I know we're getting a little technical here, but there's no use for it. You don't use it to create electricity. You don't use it to create anything for medical purposes. The only reason to have 60% enriched uranium is to be able to enrich it to 90% and put it in a bomb. That's the only reason to have it. Iran has no reason to have it. They should give it up. They've been given multiple opportunities to give it up. They've had multiple countries, including countries they consider friendly to them, approach them and say, turn it over to us. They continue to refuse to do so.
Why?
So why
would they do that? Why? I mean, I was literally told by a Pakistani man with 80 IQ that this is a gigantic hoax and we're being played.
Continue to refuse to turn over 60% enriched uranium? There's only one reason, and that is because they want to hold it and keep it to one day use it to build a bomb.
Obviously.
That's the only way.
Obviously.
And they were going to hide behind all these missiles,
Obviously, that was the plan. Dude, Rubio's been he's been on fire. So, of course, the gayest of the gays, Anthony Albanese, retard Prime Minister of Australia, he came out to prove to the world that he is, in fact, a faggot.
My fellow Australians, by nature, we're an optimistic country, but I understand that right now it's hard to be positive. The war in the Middle East has caused the biggest spike in petrol and diesel prices in history. Australia is not an active participant in this war.
Why not?
All Australians are paying higher prices because of it. I know that you're seeing this at the servo and at the supermarket.
That sucks,
And
man.
I understand farmers and truckies, small businesses and families.
Yeah, terrorists are stopping you from getting oil. I love how he's blaming the war in the Middle East nebulously. Terrorists are doing it. Terrorists are bombing the Strait of Hormuz. Terrorists are not letting ships go through. It's actually terrorists that are doing it. Like, the narrative that all the leftoids are doing is like, this conflict caused it. Well, I mean, I guess the conflict got terrorists to do war crimes and acts of terror. But are we really going to blame that on the fact that we're trying to stop them from nuking us? Or are we going to blame that on the terrorists that are doing acts of terror? Obviously, the left blames us, obviously.
Doing it tough. And the reality is, the economic shocks caused by this war will be with us for months. Tonight, I want to speak directly with you about what the government is doing to shield Australia in these uncertain times.
Uncertain times, unbelievable darkness. We're gonna have crocodiles. Like, I love how these people are doing this shit. Like they're out there. I could show you the rest of his statement. He just keeps yammering about how we're gonna be there for you in this dark, trying time when you know, a nuclear nation is not gonna exist because the United States is awesome, actually. And again, this is exactly what you see everywhere. No King's protester talking about Iran. Like, these people are actually retarded.
America hates them because Iran is so feminist.
Oh, yeah?
They are so good.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah.
There's no better place to be a woman than Iran compared to here.
Right.
It's the rights.
Yep. The reason why we're at war with Iran is because Iran is too feminist of a nation.
They're taking away.
Exactly.
Do you think the Iranians maintain such good women and LGBT rights as well?
You know they execute gay people, right?
Well, that they have a good leader.
A good leader that just massacred 40,000 of their own people.
Ayatollah, or
Yeah.
and
He's
Wow.
very pro-LGBT.
yeah,
They said that he wants the next Ayatollah to queen out.
be a woman.
No, a guy, but he's a queen.
Oh,
Like a gay guy. They
Oh.
wanted a gay guy to be in charge,
who cares?
It's actually because Prophet Muhammad actually
Oh.
had a lot of gay friends.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
The Strait of Hormuz.
Oh,
These people, they just believe anything that fits their narrative. Reality doesn't matter to these people. This is unbelievable, dude. This is actually unbelievable.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah.
Hell no. Let the prices go up. Maybe these people,
yeah.
you know, they think that they want to drive their cars and luxury and all this stuff. Let them feel some pain. Yeah. I hope they blow it up. I mean, any ship that go to there that's not.
I hope terrorists do acts of terror.
That's U.S. related.
That's right. I hope they blow up our ships exclusively. Patriot, am I right? So anyway, we have to deal with these dumb fucks. And honestly, one of the worst statements I've seen actually came from Nick Fuentes, who likes America. I mean, I guess. But this one's wild.
Pray for Iran. Pray for the designs of the Jews to fail. That's all we could do. Iran is fighting for the whole world right now.
What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? Imagine disliking the Jews so much that you're literally going to side with Iran over your own country. Like, this shit's insane. So anyway, the crash outs have been pretty diabolical. Heartbreakingly, even England condemned us. England, the once feared and powerful empire, came out with the gayest statement in the history of gays. That's right. LGBT needs to add E for England. A whole new level of faggotry no one has ever expected to see. So Queer Starmer decides to show up and drop some truth.
In the Middle East has now entered a second month. And while we're working at pace for de-escalation and peace.
In other words, they're doing absolutely nothing. I'll help translate. I speak fluent retard.
It is now clear that the impact of this war will affect the future of our country.
Really? Yes. I mean, it would stop you from getting nuked, I suppose, if Iran ever develops a nuke. True.
So today, I want to reassure the British people that no matter how fierce this storm, we are well placed to weather it.
Oh, really?
And that we have a long-term...
What are you going to do? They're going to weather the storm. We are going to do fucking nothing. And it's going to be patriotic.
...plan to emerge from it a stronger, a more secure nation.
We are going to get stronger from this thing that we are not involved in and doesn't affect us so much, except for making our gas prices higher.
First, let me say once again, this is not our war.
Well, I mean, your gas prices are up because terrorists are bombing shit in the Strait of Hormuz. Seems like it's your war.
We will not be drawn into the conflict.
That's so weird because I thought you were a NATO ally that would help other NATO allies with their issues and their conflicts. That's so weird. So this is, you're just not involved? I don't want to offend my Pakistani base. I'm banning dogs.
That is not in our national interest. And the most
Yeah, that's not how alliances work though, buddy.
Effective way we can support the cost of living in Britain is to push for de-escalation in the Middle East and a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
So do something about it. Literally do something about it. Dude made 47 different statements and tweets and shit. Do something.
Which is such a vital route for energy.
Yeah, especially for, like, you. It doesn't really affect us that much at all. All right, only 1% of America's energy comes from the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of England's does. So why don't you go there and fucking do something?
To that end, we're
terrorists are bombing ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Bro finds a way to cry about it and talk about how he's going to come out stronger while doing absolutely fucking nothing. This is humiliating, man.
In each and every diplomatic avenue that is available to us.
Diplomatic avenues? We are making tweets and public statements. We have urged the United States, please, let Iran develop a nuclear weapon.
The Foreign Secretary and the Chancellor have met their counterparts in the G7.
Oh, that's going to help.
The Defence Secretary has been in the Middle East speaking to our partners.
Oh, that's going to help.
And the UK has now brought together 35 nations.
Wow.
Around our statement of intent.
Wait, do these people think that votes actually matter here? No. I don't think you understand literally anything. You think that a couple of retards that have no skin in the game have the right to vote for us to not destroy threats to our nation? Literally, like, where do you get off, bro? Right? We're all part of NATO. You should be literally at war with us, on our side, all right? You decided to cuck out after we forked over billions of dollars for this Ukraine war, which directly does affect you. All right? You are an absolute backstabbing faggot, bro. Not even exaggerating here. Now, the reality is, we don't need you. And you're going to realize that very soon.
To push as one for maritime security.
Oh, they'll push as one by signing strongly worded letters together. We'll have multiple signatures in the bottom of their letters that they write.
Across the Gulf.
Wow.
And today I can announce that later this week,
oh shit, he's making
the
an
Foreign
announcement.
Secretary
Huge
will
announcement.
host a meeting.
It's going to be huge.
That brings those nations together for the first time, where we will assess all
Get ready.
viable diplomatic and political measures that we can take to restore freedom of navigation.
Like what? What political measures are you going to fucking take? You're going to tell the Iranian terrorists to stop bombing boats? What? Yo, I feel like that'll work, man.
Guarantee the safety of trapped ships and seafarers.
This will do
And
nothing.
resume the movement of vital commodities.
This can't do anything. You have
Following
nothing.
that meeting, we will also convene our military planners
Oh?
to look at how we can marshal our capabilities
Oh?
and
Get
make
ready.
the Strait accessible and safe after the fighting has stopped.
Right, so after the fighting has stopped, in other words, he doesn't want to actually do anything when it would be helpful, he wants to figure out how to actually become powerful because he realizes that the United States might leave NATO. And if the United States leaves NATO, all of Europe is a sitting duck to anyone that wants to fuck with them. We are 70% of their military, all right? So of the military of all of Europe is 70% us, all right? The reality is, if we leave NATO, these people are sitting ducks to get slaughtered. And they know that. So now they're really worried about military shit.
Because
They used to just rely on us. Oh, big brother, America's going to protect us.
I do have to level with people on this.
All right, I'm ready.
This will not be easy.
Wow, so brave.
I spoke with relevant
What
business
will not be easy? I thought you're not part of the war. What's not easy? Well, writing letters and having it signed by multiple individuals, truly a difficult task. Something the likes of which no one expected me to be able to accomplish all by myself. I know.
leaders in shipping.
I'm used to it. I'm used to writing letters to different Pakistani rapists telling them exactly how I could get them off their crimes.
Finance, insurance, and energy supply in Downing Street on Monday.
That's crazy.
And they were clear with me.
He did meetings, guys.
The primary challenge they face is not one of insurance,
Oh?
but one of safety and security of passage.
So go do something about it. Literally go to the Strait of Hormuz and give them security of passage. Iran has no fucking missiles anymore. Like, what are we doing? So do something!
So the fact is, we need all of this together.
Wow.
A united front of military strength and diplomatic activity,
Uh-huh.
partnership with industry, so they too can mobilise once the fighting has stopped.
Okay.
And above all,
We need boats that go on water instead of sink in the water. Truly brave.
clear and calm leadership.
Calm
That is what
leadership.
this country is ready to provide.
I am a professional at calm leadership. I know that a rape happens every 54 minutes in London, England, and I ignore it. I am the quintessential calm leader. Everyone wishes they were as calm as me. Yes, my entire country was getting raped by Pakistani rape gangs, and you know what I did? I was calm, and I did nothing.
Because
Many
my
such
guide
cases.
from the start of this conflict has always been the British national interest and freedom of navigation
Really? Because it seems like your oil prices are up because you're too scared to do anything about it.
in the Middle East is in the British national interest.
Wow.
Let me turn now to the impact at home,
All right. Here we go.
because I know that this is causing huge concern.
Huge.
People turn on their television, they look at their screens, they say explosions, infrastructure blown up, aggressive rhetoric.
Oh, explosions and rhetoric. Holy fuck. Call the Facebook police. Explosions and rhetoric on the telly? Oh my God. Horrifying.
They worry that the
This guy is so pathetic. It's unbelievable. This is the worst statement ever.
UK will be dragged into this. We won't. But I
We will bravely not do anything to help our conditions whatsoever. Thank you for your time.
also know that people have a deep sense that this will affect their family and their household. They
It
can
will.
see it at the petrol pumps,
That's right.
and they worry about their energy bills.
That's right.
It is the job of
It'll get
government
worse.
to meet these moments, not just with immediate action, but also with clarity about our direction.
All right. So what's the direction?
That's what I remember about the night.
Not with immediate action. All right. Don't get confused. I'm not going to do anything. I love Keir Starmer. He's so predictable. All of his speeches just amounted to, we will proceed to do fucking nothing. Should we ban cousin marriage? I proceed to do nothing about that. Should we stop the migrants coming on boats into our countries by the hundreds of thousands? I will tell you that I am going to do absolutely nothing about this. This guy's incredible.
1970s, when my family could not pay every bill. We struggled through the energy shocks and the
That's sad.
price rises of that decade.
That sucks.
But we always believed in the end that Britain would secure a better future for us.
So, yes, we are not going to help you with the gas prices, but you have to believe. Believe in a better future as I bring in another 4 bajillion Pakistanis. Yes, believe.
And I think that's what's been lacking in the crises of recent years.
I'm seeing a lot of people worried about the influx of Pakistanis, so I wanted to tell you we are also bringing in Nigerians.
And I'm not prepared to
Fantastic
ask
news.
the British people once again to go through a crisis, come out of it, and say business as usual.
All right.
Back to the status quo.
No, we're going to get
So
better.
on our economy, on our energy, and on our defence.
Oh, yeah.
This time will be different.
Oh,
We will make Britain a fairer and more secure country.
a fairer country. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Because that hope is what is needed
All right.
as the country comes together.
Get ready. This is going to be
And
awesome.
Because how we emerge from this crisis.
I'm very excited for him to talk about this because now I'm going to get a little bit deeper here because I actually do a lot of reading for these videos. I do way too much research. But the reality is, do you know the major reason why the Strait of Hormuz being closed affects England so much? It does because England is woke. That's right. It's wokeness that's killing England. And I'll explain to you exactly how. I'm not even saying that as a meme. All right. I'm not just saying it because God turned his back on England because they're all fucking degenerates. Obviously, I feel so bad for the British people that are just getting tortured by their woke government. But this is why. It's because England wanted to protect the environment. So England didn't actually have any of its own resources. They don't do any fracking. They do nothing to actually procure their own resources. They only bring it from other countries that do the fucking, anti-environmental work that they are trying to avoid. They are a country that cannot exist itself because they're gay. They're way too gay to actually do their own shit. That's right. They're reliant on the United States for military. They're reliant on Iran for oil. They're reliant on Russia for oil. They're reliant on everyone other than themselves because they are too gay to fucking do anything. That's right. That's the truth. When he's saying we're going to be figure shit out about energy, it's because right now they're getting so obliterated by this war, all right? Because they cannot produce anything themselves because they tied their own hands. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Will define us for a generation.
All right.
So, as I set out a few weeks ago, we have a 5-point plan for the immediate crisis.
All right, here we go.
We're cutting energy bills by over £100 per household
That's crazy.
today.
That's awesome.
We've extended the cut in fuel duty until September.
That's awesome.
And we're monitoring
Who's going to
that
pay for that?
situation daily.
Who's going to pay for that?
We're supporting people exposed to heating oil rises.
Notice how he doesn't say who's going to pay for that. Because who's going to pay for the electricity? The electric company's just going to do it for free? No, the government's going to pay. Well, how's the government going to get your money? Tax dollars. So what he's basically saying is, fantastic news! We are going to be lowering prices by increasing taxes. That's what he's actually saying.
Setting aside £53 million for that. We're taking back control of our energy security by investing in clean British energy. Because that is the only way we get your bills off the roller coaster.
You mean that we should produce our own energy? I didn't even consider this. I didn't even consider producing my own energy. Wow!
That is controlled by Putin and the Iranian regime. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of your energy bills fluctuating up and down.
I'm sure you are.
Because we're on the international market.
Huh? How did that happen? Why are you only on the international market? That's so weird.
When, if we took control of our energy and had homegrown renewables, we could stabilize your bill.
Why were you doing that literally until now? Because you were woke. They literally woke too close to the sun and now they're suffering.
And finally, as I say, we'll continue to push for de-escalation in the Middle East.
Oh, that's good. They'll push.
But look, there's also a bigger argument here.
All right.
Because every one of these measures is part of a long-term plan to make our country more secure and more resilient to shocks like this.
All right.
I mean, just look at what's happening today. Today, your energy bills will be cut because of the action that we took at the budget. And whatever happens in Iran,
wow,
that price is now fixed until July.
Wow.
Today, if you need a prescription, instead of rising as they used to, the price will be frozen for a year.
Isn't it weird that he, literally could have done all of these things without the Iran situation? It's almost like now he's just at an actual point of no return. They forced his hand. They realized that he can't just rely on other people. Anyway, bro keeps yapping for another 3 minutes about how he's not going to do anything and he's going to look to a brighter future anyway. It's pretty awesome stuff, honestly. This is your guy. So let's just understand what this dude has been successfully not doing. This is literally his entire policy. It's like, we're going to do fucking nothing about these things. All right? More than 25 sanctioned Russian ships passed through Channel despite Keir Starmer's crackdown threat. Wow. Wow. It looks like Keir Starmer's threats are pretty equivalent to the Iranian regime's threats. All right? Now, let's understand what they're doing with your money, right? He's crying, we have no money. money. We're broke. We're poor. All right. Everything's increasing in prices. How are we going to survive? Well, they voted in the United Nations to give millions and billions of dollars to Africa as reparations. Do you understand, bro? Do you understand? All right. So the UN voted to recognize slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity, and also called for reparations to the countries. The UK voted yes. They're so fucking woke. They're killing themselves. Woke is like an actual suicidal ideology. All right. Like being woke, that shit's deadly. All right. Being woke means we abort our babies. Being woke means we castrate children. Being woke means we don't actually teach women to get married and have husbands and raise kids, but instead they have to be girl bosses. Being woke is literally suicide. Being woke is importing infinite immigrants into your country. Right? Wokeness fucking kills. And here's another one. We are so woke we have no energy and we're going broke. We're out of money. We're only going to be writing an $150 billion check to Africa. All right? This is literally every time. Right? So breaking news. The Met Police arrested 2 more British nationals. And 1 British Pakistani national, aged 20, 19, and 17, for the arson attack on the Jewish community ambulances. Honestly insane. It's Pakistanis, all right? Pakistanis committing terror attacks, right? Blowing up Jewish community ambulances. Now, of course, this comes after you had Mayor of Bath, all right? This guy, he looks as British as they come, saying that the Jewish ambulance attack was an Israeli false flag operation, and everyone, 100,000 likes. False flag Jewish ambulance. Yeah, well, it was Pakistani Muslims actually. It really wasn't a false flag, it turns out. But possible false flag event. We've seen CNN film fake crisis videos like this. Bombings, false flags. False flags everywhere. I can't believe it. Unbelievable false flags. And everyone's, yelling about how it's a false flag. Breaking. The stupidest false flag. They blew up ambulances. Well, the false flag was done by Pakistani British people. Yeah, definitely good shit. Now, to understand exactly where politics are right now, right, this is the woke party, right, the Green Party. So Rupert Lowe dropped the nuke. All right, he's actually running for the based far-right party, they call him. All right, there is a link between the rape gangs and one particular religion. We have seen it again and again and again at our impunity. That religion is Islam. As a country, we must have the courage to face up to that fact. The reality is he's right. All right, the Pakistani rape gangs are Islamic-based. It's very fucking obvious, actually. It's probably because their religion says that you could rape children. But maybe the idea that child rape is permissible in Islam has something to do with it. But I'm no scholar. I'm not gonna take that leap. Okay, maybe it's because their prophet was a pedophile. Maybe they're literal human best ever role model ever, Muhammad, raped kids. So maybe that actually has some sort of an impact on the culture. Now, I was told to tell you that all cultures are the same, but then again, I'm not suicidally woke, so I'm going to be real. So he made this tweet, and this is based as fuck for a politician to actually drop this nuke. Now, the Leeds Green Party says, what a stupid man, what an idiot. Just because 97% of the rape gangs are Pakistani Muslim, that doesn't mean it has anything to do with anything. So Rupert Lowe responds, does the Green Party not believe that there's a problem with gangs of Pakistani Muslims raping white children? Look at this ratio, 33,000 likes to 290 likes. This is the craziest ratio I've ever seen in my entire life. The people are waking up and the people are really tired with this suicidal woke bullshit. And this is a political party. This is the Greens Party. This is one of the largest political parties in England. It's mostly Muslims and communists, but it's one of the largest political parties getting obliterated. All right, now here's the crazy thing. While Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosts Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara in Downing Street, he is condemning the United States for attacking Iran. This guy, this is the Syrian prime minister dude, if you can call him a prime minister, that overthrew the previous regime and is currently orchestrating massacres of Christians in Syria now. He was a former ISIS member, and now he put a suit on, so he's a politician. A monkey with a suit is just a politician, it turns out. Remember when this guy used to behead people for bin Laden? Lol. All right, we all remember. He's a changed man or something, while he's still endorsing genocide against the Christians in Syria. But look who has no problem. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer hosts him. Wow, is that beautiful? This is from today, by the way. All right, yesterday. This is literally just happened. All right, so this is what we see everywhere. This is what happens when one of the following goes to number 10. All right, an Israeli official, mass protests. President Trump, mass protests. Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, man who led al-Qaeda anti-Christian pogroms and killed hundreds of thousands of civilians, no protests. That's right. Keir Starmer will condemn us for killing Ayatollah Khamenei, all right, a terrorist, but he will literally dine with this guy. It really makes it obvious where his allegiances actually lie. Makes it really obvious that he's fucking conquered. So yes, this is when he says there's a link between the rape gangs and one particular religion. The religion is Islam. There's a reason why all of these British politicians refuse to actually talk about it. The response to that was get over it. Get over the mass rape of young British white girls by Islamic grooming gangs. Just get over it. Now, one of our main battlegrounds while the woke leftists are trying to kill us is the court systems, because the court systems across the Western world have been absolutely conquered and pillaged by woke people, hijacking it to push their own agendas. Well, we won one. We took it back from the woke yesterday, and we have to talk about it, but we have to also talk about the protests, and we also have to talk about the way that our judicial system is killing us. There was also a single law that was passed in Israel, death penalties to Palestinian terrorists, except it's not specifically Palestinian terrorists, it's just any terrorists that kill people, and there's literally mass condemnation around the world. Death penalty for terrorists that kill people. And the world condemns it. This is a problem. So first, U.S. Supreme Court rules against the Colorado ban on conversion therapy for LGBTQ minors. All right, just against ban 8, for ban 1. Ketanji Brown Jackson, the DEI judge, was the lone dissent that actually said, no, we're not allowed to do this, right? Let's understand what this topic is. When it says gender conversion therapy, it means going to a therapist as a child, and the therapist tell you, listen, maybe you're not actually transgender. Maybe you're actually not gay. That was illegal in Colorado. It was banned in Colorado, and it was this illegality was destroyed. All right. Of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of the Supreme Court judges, complete retard, DEI judge, said, no, actually, we should ban therapists from having conversations with children about how they actually might not be gay. Right? Maybe you were groomed, actually. Maybe you weren't gay. It's pretty insane. It's pretty wild. And then the therapist asks a kid, hey, why? From how long did you think that you were gay? And he said, ever since I knew that my uncle was gay. Many such cases. That was pretty dark. Anyway, so, of course, Justice Jackson's explanation as to why they were against it is, there is no right to practice medicine which is not subordinate to the police power of the states. That's right. How dare you? How dare you? Well, this is pretty weird because she said it's also not right for you to set age limits on transgenders. So, like, it's pretty insane that we even need to deal with this. Like, honestly, that we have like these woke judges and they rape a generation of kids through their rulings. Like, it's honestly insane. Now, if you think that's bad, now we have to talk about the way these judges have actually been crippling us. So ABC News made a new announcement. Hey, breaking news. The Trump administration must restore the legal status of potentially hundreds of thousands of immigrants who came to the United States legally through a Biden-era pathway, a federal judge ruled Tuesday. So let's understand this. A federal judge, some random gay retard, all right, decided, hold up, we need to give citizenship to another 900,000 people, and actually it's Trump is not allowed to stop that from happening. But let's understand the context. The Biden administration created out of thin air a pathway on a cell phone app for 900,000 migrants around the world to bypass the Rio Grande and enter the U.S. at ports of entry. Trump revoked their legal status on day one, and a federal judge says, no, Biden said they could do it, so we have to give them citizenship and they have to continue to rape us. Here's the real story. Biden took an app for commercial truckers to schedule cargo inspections at the border, converted it into a one-stop digital pathway for nearly 1 million people to walk up to the southern border and illegally enter the country. What this ruling essentially amounts to is a declaration that it's legal for a Democrat administration to unilaterally import over 10 million people to the country in 4 years, but a Republican administration cannot deport them. The judiciary is ultimately going to kill this country unless rulings like this are simply ignored. Leftist judges have completely destroyed whatever moral legitimacy the courts once had in a bid to overturn the results of the last election through blatant ideological warfare, and this is just objectively correct. Biden decides to, in my opinion, commit an act of treason and let, 30 million rapists into the country. Trump's like, whoa, we have to stop this. Sorry, a district court judge said that you're not actually able to stop the rape. Let the rape continue. All right. So DeSantis is actually based as fuck. He's the governor of Florida. He's calling for the immediate impeachment of Judge Tiffany Baker because of this situation. All right. Understand that the rule of law is very important and our judges aren't following it. All right. Look, you could just fucking look at her. Look at her, bro. You knew it was coming. It's not racist for me to say that we knew that this shit would happen from a judge that looked like this.
I appreciate the legislature for passing
because she's a woman. Just to be clear.
But I will just say to my friends in the Florida House of Representatives, I don't think what you've done is enough. You have the power and you have sufficient numbers in your chamber to impeach this judge.
That's right. We have to get the judges fucking destroyed legally. We have to remove them. We have to remove these judges from power. This is obviously not someone who cares about the rule of law. A judge is not someone that makes their own decisions based on their own lack of moral compass. All right. Well, actually, I believe that. And then, infinite gay. All right. No, we don't need to play that game. That's not actually what judges are supposed to do. They're supposed to interpret the laws that we have.
Tiffany Baker. Until you start holding these judges accountable,
he's right.
They are going to continue to find ways to benefit the criminal.
If DeSantis decides to run for president and he says, I'm going to literally disbar every woke judge, I would vote for him. I would vote for him. There are so many things that we can do to protect this country. There are so many things we could actually do if we had a president that was willing to do it. I wish Trump focused on the domestic shit a little more than the foreign shit. This is insane.
Element. This was an outrage. This was such a...
Now let's understand the story that he's outraged about, okay? DeSantis is calling for the immediate impeachment of Judge Tiffany Baker. She released a child rapist whilst out on bail. He raped and tortured and killed a 5-year-old girl. It is unreal that we're not holding this judge as an accessory to murder, right? Like, you have a responsibility for the laws that you pass, all right? But you release a child rapist? You release a child rapist and then they murder somebody? I really wish we had death penalty for child rapists. I really wish we actually had death penalties for terrorists. Because I don't want judges to keep releasing them from jails. And that's exactly the issue here. And that's exactly why everyone's so mad at Israel right now. I'll get there in a second. All right, let's look at England. Let's see how it's going in England. Nanny who decapitated a girl. Oh my God. Then carries her head through the streets screaming Allahu Akbar will be free after 5 years in psychiatric ward after doctors cure her. Like, what are we fucking doing, man? What are we doing? This is death penalty. You would not need to worry about this if you fucking executed this woman. It says in the Bible, a man that takes another man's life, his life will be taken in return. It says this in the book of Genesis, Exodus. It says it in Leviticus, in Numbers, and in Deuteronomy. It says it in literally all of them. The same sentiment. You execute a killer. Our country is founded on biblical values. This is based as fuck, and we need to start doing this more. All right? Now, here's the major story that everyone's freaking out about, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about how our justice system is absolutely obliterated. So this is Zetio. This is a Qatari-funded news organization where they say that Israel's Minister of National Security is celebrating Israel's newest law, a death penalty applied exclusively to Palestinians. Well, this is how the lie begins, because there is no death penalty law exclusively for Palestinians. This is just not actually true. The actual law is an execution of terrorists that murder people. All right? After a court trial, if the terrorist is found to have murdered somebody, they're executed. In my opinion, this is based as fuck, and we should do this everywhere. That's right. Absolutely. We would not have issues like this. We wouldn't have this issue at all. This person's going to be out of jail in 5 years because they were ruled, they were ruled to have mental illness. Well, they would be ruled fucking dead under this law, which is based. Now, the entire world is losing it. HASAN PIKER is getting criticized right now for, supporting terrorism and stuff on CNN. So his response was, on the day that Israel signed a death penalty for Palestinian detainees, they didn't do that. They literally made a law that says that terrorist murderers get executed. And this would apply to everyone. It would apply to Palestinians. It would apply to Egyptians. It would apply to Israelis. All right. It would apply to anyone who actually fits the criteria of terrorist that murders somebody gets the death penalty. All right. This is not a law for Palestinians exclusively. And Jake Tapper is doing a panel on CNN on my anti-Semitism. It's insane. All right. Now, first of all, HASAN, you saying that you want Jews to get raped and genocided is anti-Semitism. Second of all, and I think this is very important to note, in my opinion, Dude is literally saying, you can't criticize me. There's a genocide happening, but in even gayer words. It's honestly incredible that this man keeps doing it. It really is. This is truly diabolical. Why would you criticize me for saying that America deserved 9/11 when there are literally Palestinian terrorists getting executed? Dude, this guy's fucking awesome every single time. But now I wanted to literally, just for a moment, show you what this conversation is actually about. So UN human rights. Now, remember, the UN did not condemn Iran for massacring 40,000 of their own people, all right? But the UN, Israel's new law reinstating the death penalty almost exclusively to Palestinians is deeply discriminatory and must be repealed. Wow, you just said the quiet part out loud. Almost exclusively to Palestinians. You mean to tell me it's literally done to terrorists that commit murder? It's done to terrorists that commit murder. But that's like 99% Palestinians. They literally say the quiet part out loud. Look, there's a reason why that Jordan and Egypt and Lebanon did not want to take Palestinian refugees. It's because their actual culture is violent as fuck. All right? There were Palestinians led into Jordan before. They did a coup d'etat, tried to execute the king. There were Palestinians led into Lebanon before. They started a civil war. All right, so, and then Egypt decided, no, they're just going to actually fire gas bombs at Palestinians that try to invade Egypt. All right, that's what happened there. All right, because the Palestinian culture is violent as fuck. Oh, no, but you're being racist. Well, it's not me. The UN is saying that a law that's literally just death penalty to terrorists that kill people would almost exclusively be done to Palestinians. Well, isn't that a problem for Palestinians? You know, this really wouldn't happen to Palestinians if they didn't just murder people, I guess. Like, this is fucking insane. Quiet part out loud, holy shit. And they're all doing this. Switzerland is deeply concerned about the adoption of Israel's death penalty bill. Literally, butt out. What the fuck is going on? I would be furious if Israel decided to dictate that our laws in America are immoral. Or, in fact, I wish we'd be executing terrorists. For real. We wouldn't have to deal with half of the shit that we deal with. The guy that killed Irina Zarutska, I'd be more than happy if this dude got the death penalty. We have to raise the issue with Israeli authorities and urge them to revoke the law, restore long-standing moratorium, hold their obligations under international law. What obligations under international law? You do realize half of the countries in the world still have the death penalty, all right? How many countries or territories have a law that punishes by death those who sell land to Jews? Palestinians. All right, we can get into that. But there are so many countries that have the death penalty. Japan, America, we have the death penalty. All right, why is this like such a humanitarian rights? Iran literally just massacred 40,000 of their own people and Switzerland didn't say anything. What are we doing here? Canada joins its partners in expressing concern of the death penalty law passed by the Israeli Knesset that, in practice, systematically targets Palestinians. What do you mean by in practice? What do you mean by in practice? Is it because Palestinians are the terrorists? This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, remove in practice and the whole sentence is just fake news, right? So it's notice how it doesn't say concerned about the death penalty that systematically targets Palestinians. Notice it says in practice because, yeah, all the murderers tend to be Palestinian, actually. All the terrorist murderers are Palestinians, actually. That's what it seems. Like, you realize that they're all being like, hold up, murdering people is just part of their culture. It's racist because Palestinians are just overwhelmingly terrorists? Is that what they're saying here? Pedro Sanchez, he's the government of Spain. He's the Spanish communist. The government of Spain condemns the death penalty against Palestinians. What does this even fucking mean? It's against anyone that commits terror. It's against any terrorist that murders someone. That Israel's parliament just approved. Asymmetric measure that would not be applied to Israelis who committed the same offenses. This is just not true. Any Israeli terrorist that commits an act of murder also gets the death penalty. Same crime, different penalty. This is just not true. Like, Pedro Sanchez is just reading Pakistani tweets or Pakistani Instagram stories and being like, holy shit, I'm just going to believe what I'm reading, all right? Today in Barcelona, the entire stadium was singing Pedro Sanchez, hijo de puta, which means Pedro Sanchez, you motherfucker. Pedro Sanchez, hijo de puta. Beautiful stuff, honestly. And the reality is he is a motherfucker. He's a communist that's destroying Spain and destroying their alliance with us. Right? This guy fucking sucks. All right. So this is Adam. He makes believe he's like a based white guy. He is a Pakistani from England. Imagine Hamas made it legal to execute Israeli hostages in Palestine. First of all, what is this Palestine? I don't think there's a real country like that. But second of all, Hamas literally unilaterally entered Israel on October 7th and massacred 1,300 people and raped them. Hello? What do you mean made it legal? It is legal. Legal, it's honorable. Hamas is the government elected by Gaza, and they decided that they were going to massacre 1,300 people in one day. They literally choked the Bebas babies, all right, ages 6 and 4. These people, these 2 children, were choked to death by Hamas terrorists. Choked to death. What are we even fucking talking about? Imagine the outrage, but it's okay when Israel does it. First of all, obviously it's not okay when Israel does it. Everyone's freaking out. Second of all, they literally do that. Are we being serious here? Like that is their goal. Their stated goal is killing Jews. They're a terrorist organization. All right, now, of course, I feel like it's important to look into some laws that weren't condemned by the United Nations. I think it's pretty awesome. Palestinians face death for selling land to Jews. There is a law in Palestinian Authority-governed areas that you're not allowed to sell land to Jews. And if you do, they will kill you and your entire family. Isn't that nice? No condemnations. Autopsy finds 6 hostages were shot multiple times at close range in the last 48 to 72 hours. All right. Well, we don't have to imagine if Hamas made it legal to execute Israeli hostages, it turns out. Now, this is a reporter from Dropsite News literally posting this on Instagram. Wiping Israel off the planet is not enough for revenge. Israelis mustn't feel safe anymore. Haunt them and go after them wherever they go. These terrorist parasites must be removed from our planet. Isn't that awesome? This is a leftist, by the way. This Mr. Abu Bakr, yeah, fucking retard Islamist. Anyway, so this guy is a literal reporter for Dropsite News, a media organization that claimed that they're impartial. All right, obviously. Saying that because Israel passed a law to execute terrorists that murder people, we need to genocide the Jews. And this is a leftist, right? Very many such times, many such cases. It turns out the Democrat Socialist Party is actually just the National Socialist Party with extra steps. They just hate their nation. That's the major difference. So it's pretty awesome, honestly. And notice how no one feels the need to condemn Iran for committing atrocities, like actual atrocities.
Well, the Straits of Hormuz, those are international waters, right? So anything Iran does to impede commercial traffic is illegal. For all these countries that love to talk about international law, it is a violation of international maritime law to impede the free flow of travel in international waters.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two.
So where is everybody? Right, these people out there condemning people for executing terrorists? I'm not even exaggerating. You executed terrorists, we condemn you. And then they condemn the United States for Iran bombing boats in the Strait of Hormuz?
2, it's illegal to bomb and hit and attack commercial shipping and sink them. I mean, that's what the Nazis did during World War II in the Atlantic. And that's what they're doing now to ships that from countries they don't like, that are flagged by countries they don't like. These are terroristic acts that they're undertaking.
Yeah.
And so the United States gets very little energy through the Straits of Hormuz. Our allies ship out a lot.
And no condemnations for these guys. We got Pedro Sanchez condemning the United States for this war. We got Keir Starmer condemning the United States for this war. Macron condemning the United States for this war. All right. You got the UN condemning Israel for executing terrorists. And it's like, hello? Hello? This is literally happening under your noses. All right. Now, of course, Iran has been committing acts of violating international law the entire war. No one wants to talk about it. 11-year-old girl critically wounded by Iranian cluster bomb as repeated salvos target center. All right. So Iran, the entire war, has been firing cluster munitions, which is literally just designed to maximize civilian casualties. It's the opposite of pinpoint. It's a missile that, breaks apart into multiple different missiles in the air to maximize civilian casualties. They've been using this the entire war. Zero condemnation from the world. Where's the United Nations? Huh? Where's communist Pedro Sanchez? Where are these fuckers? They don't actually fucking care. They just hate the West. They hate the Western world. So Israel says it will keep control over part of southern Lebanon war after with Hezbollah. After the Hezbollah war, they keep a little bit of area. All right. So obviously everyone is very upset about this. China demands Israel immediately withdraw from Lebanon. My guy, you do realize Lebanon had 30 years to deal with Hezbollah, a terrorist organization that's been firing missiles into Israel. Hezbollah started the war. Israel fucking is killing terrorists, and these people are losing their minds. And also, China? Hello? You literally genocided the Uyghur Muslims in your country. And now they're demanding Israel stop. Yeah, because your allies aren't sending you oil anymore. All right? So this is... a video that they post, how based, child molester public execution in Yemen. And that's awesome, man. I wish that we were based and executed pedophiles just like they did in Yemen. Well, the reality is a little different. The legal age of marriage in Yemen is 0. It's 100% legal to rape your wife in Yemen. Child rape is legal against girls of any age. You know why this person is getting executed here in public? It's because this person raped a boy. That's right. That's why this person's getting executed in public. He's getting executed for being gay. He's not being executed for being a pedophile. Zero condemnation from the world. Where's the United Nations? Where is everybody? No one knows. And here's the funniest part. Nick Fuentes, notorious fan of the Jews, had this to say about this law, because everyone's crashing out. I can't believe Israel would post the law. They'd implement a law where they kill terrorists. All right, so this is what Nick Fuentes had to say. Shlomo Fuentes, a Mossad agent extraordinaire, once again coming to the aid of the Jews.
Thanks for the top-tier war analysis, Nick. Israeli ministers wearing news lapels and popping champagne to celebrate their new death penalty law earlier this week was a truly sick insight into their depraved morality. What did you make of it? Wishing you and family a blessed Holy Week.
Cry about it. Honestly, stuff like that is for pussies like you.
True.
You make Goyim look gay.
Oh, that's rough,
because
buddy.
Jews are so hardcore. They're wearing a lapel that says, like, we're going to lynch everybody and take all your shit. And then Goyim have their, like, screaming whores on TV. That's not moral. You fucking bloodthirsty monster. It's
right. So Nick Fuentes, like, I've been saying this the entire time. Nick Fuentes doesn't like Israel's relationship with the United States. Nick Fuentes wishes the United States was to, like, white people what Israel is to Jews. You know, a place that doesn't allow infinite migration. A place that does actually care about the ethnicity of their culture. A place that actually has a culture. A place that's actually willing to fucking destroy people that are trying to destroy them. Right? Nick Fuentes wishes America was Israel, but for whites. I'm not even exaggerating. Right? So when he sees criticism like this, his criticism is that Israel is involved with American politics. His issue with Israel isn't that Israel is killing terrorists. That's fucking awesome, actually. It's like, stop.
It's like, why are you aura farming them?
Oh.
Why are you aura farming? You're just making them look awesome. Our country is, let's be honest, our women are whores, our men are fudge packers, and they go and cry on TV about the brutality of the Jews. We deserve to die.
Oh my God, dude.
We deserve to lose. We deserve everything we have coming. Think about it.
By the way, when he says lose, he means that the Jews exist. I'm pretty sure.
Think about, you know who runs the AIPAC Tracker Twitter account? Have you seen them? Have you ever even left the studio? Have you seen who runs AIPAC Tracker on Twitter? You know that Twitter account where they say, this guy took this much AIPAC money. It's like some fat, disgusting slob whore and some little gay guy. It's like, bro,
that's brutal.
Our country is, our women.
Like, dude, I've said this the entire time. I feel so bad for the high IQ anti-Semites. The high IQ anti-Semites are coming up with actual good reasons to hate the Jews and shit. And then the low IQ anti-Semites, the Muslims and the third worlders, they're all showing up. They're all showing up. No! He's executing a terrorist! No! It's honestly incredible.
Our whores, our men are faggots, and these bleeding heart bitches go on TV and they cry about Israeli war crimes. It's like, Netanyahu, if you can hear us, please put us out of our misery. Netanyahu, if you can hear us, please. It's getting embarrassing to be a goy. Jared Kushner, take the seat.
Poor bastard.
I'm kidding, of course. Obviously joking. But seriously, it's like, seriously. You get people like Anna Kasparian, you know, screaming and yelling on TV about, like, you bloodthirsty criminal. You're just aura farming them.
Unfortunately, Nick Fuentes is correct, actually. Because everyone that's actually based knows that killing terrorists is fucking awesome, actually. So many people fell into, like, this third world slop psyop. It's unbelievable, right? While Europe is desperately trying to commit suicide by importing infinite rapists, they're also condemning people for executing terrorists. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. You see, whenever I see someone get condemned by Europe, I immediately know that they're probably based. Because whatever the fuck Europe is doing, do the fucking opposite. These people are so hell-bent on their suicidal empathy, all right, that they're losing their mind, all right? So HASAN PIKER was just brought on to talk about the tough conditions in Cuba. He was just brought on CNN after CNN literally posted, like, an entire hit piece on him, which I covered yesterday. He's brought on to CNN to talk about, the poor Cuban suffering under communism. I'm sorry, under Donald Trump, sort of, somehow. We're going to blame Trump for this.
Paint us a picture of what it's like on the ground. What'd you see?
When I first landed in Cuba, I was taken aback by how beautiful everything was.
Oh, shout out to Donald Trump.
you know, you got the 1950s cars and
You know why? You know why it's 1950s cars? You know why it's 1950s cars? It's because the moment communism kicked in, all right, Cuba fucking died. All right, Cuba was dead the moment communism showed up, and it just took a long time until the corpse rotted this badly. All right, Cuba was a dead country ever since communism, because communism cannot create. It can only get free shit from other people because none of their people are actually incentivized to do anything. All right, that's why you have 1950s cars, because they're stuck in time, unable to advance under communism.
It's a tropical island destination, but very quickly thereafter.
So why do people keep trying to flee Cuba? Right, so why are refugees escaping Cuba all the time? It's just such a beautiful paradise.
As soon as we got into Havana, the main city area where people congregate, I couldn't believe the sights that I was seeing. It was very sad. You had homes that looked like they were bombed out.
Wow, sucks that a communist dictator's in power.
Our tour guide at the time said that this was
His tour guide was a Chinese operative, literally sponsored by the Chinese Communist Party.
What a product of hurricane season and how difficult it is to like repair these buildings. And
you mean to tell me people don't actually want to get jobs under communism where everyone just gets equal shit?
And I already had known about the rolling blackouts, and I experienced them later.
Yeah, I wonder why they have no power. That's so weird. You mean to tell me that they were only surviving because they were getting free oil from Venezuela and China? And now that they're not getting free shit from places, they're literally fucking dying? I feel so bad for the people in Cuba. It really sucks that you have a communist dictator, but don't worry, we'll take care of him soon.
Today, and it was definitely...
I don't know if you heard the news. It's April, and that means we're getting a new El Presidente this month. Last month was Khomeini. This month, don't worry, my guys. Don't worry, we're coming.
Like anything I've ever experienced before, everything's pitch black. There aren't any traffic lights on. Like, it's crazy.
Wow, no power. That's crazy, yeah. Shithole.
Right, but I was taken aback. I was very sad by all the poverty that I saw.
I love how this dude's like, what was Cuba like? And he's like, I was sad. I was angry. He's literally just an actual high school kid.
And then I was very angry. It was actually Ben Rhodes who told me that I would get very sad when I first went to...
Former Obama foreign policy advisor.
Former Obama foreign policy advisor Ben Rhodes, who was, you know, formative in the previous normalization agreement with Cuba that Barack Obama had orchestrated.
You mean to tell me Barack Obama was literally working with China to make sure that Cuba would be a propped up literal base of our foreign adversaries in our hemisphere? Least surprising news of the day.
And he was right. It was very sad to see. But
yeah, communism sucks.
Very angering. It was very anger-inducing because I felt like, you know, there was a lot of potential.
I love how HASAN thinks that he just needs to be a therapist. Then I felt angry, and then I felt sad, and then I felt gay, so I electrocuted my dog.
On this island that we were just robbing the people of. And
he's acknowledging the fact that he was literally put up in a government-owned hotel, the only place in the entire city that had electricity. And it turns out that when HASAN PIKER was there, you know, throwing all these music festivals, using the last of their power, hospitals didn't have power and people died in surgery because of, allegedly, HASAN PIKER's entourage. He literally got people killed, allegedly.
And it's totally cruel and totally unnecessary.
No, actually, it's a complete, utter normal reaction to communism.
It was part of the reason why I went to Cuba, because I've heard a lot about, you know, Cuban organizing, the Cuban government. I'd read a lot about it.
Sure.
I knew about the island's history of developing sovereignty, but I'd also heard about this blockade, right? And I wanted to figure out exactly how this blockade was harming people directly.
How?
And in many ways that are indirect, because...
By the way, the blockade doesn't actually stop Cuba from buying oil. It just stops China and Venezuela from giving them free oil. Just to understand what the blockade is, because people think that there's like ships around Cuba. That's not a thing. There are no ships around Cuba. All right, we just don't want our adversaries to be propping up a communist regime in our hemisphere that hates us. All right. In fact, we would rather they could buy whatever oil they want. They just can't afford it because they have no money because they're communists.
Blockade itself is designed to be invisible.
If there's a blockade, it's an invisible blockade. Yeah, because there isn't really a blockade at all, actually.
It's a system of sanctions. It's this like bureaucratic nightmare that basically renders it impossible for the island to do regular commerce, just like any other country.
That's not true. They could do commerce. He's literally just lying.
Banks can't take out loans from any other banks. And you, as an American citizen, as a matter of fact, have a lot of restrictions on what you can and can't do both.
That is correct. You know what the restrictions are? You're not allowed to give money to the communist dictator that's running Cuba. You could go to whatever hotel you want, provided as it's not the hotel that's literally owned by the country, right? You cannot fund our adversary. I love how he's like, I can't believe there are all these restrictions. We're not allowed to give weapons to people that are trying to kill us. Like, this is HASAN logic. He hates the United States so badly. He's talking about how immoral it is that our country is preventing us from literally funding people that are trying to kill us.
On the island, or if you wanted to even send money, if you have relatives on the island, it's a very difficult process to like directly send cash payments to your relatives as well. It's totally unnecessary. These rules are so arbitrary, and yet they're so damaging to everyone, to everyday Cuban existence.
Yeah, so sad, heartbreaking stuff that communism ruined him. That's why no one listens to these people. Like, none of this is actually true. Literally, none of this is even real. And the funniest part is, he said nothing. I got there and I felt sad, and then I felt angry. Like, again, it's truly remarkable how retarded these people are. Now, to understand how much the left actually hates us, all right, not funding our adversaries is not enough. You see, Providence mayor calls for a mural of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska divisive over a train stabbing death. So, as you can see, this is Irina Zarutska. She was stabbed by this dumb fuck retard on a subway, on a train. Remember this face before you vote for the Democrats ever again. For real, for real. But it turns out they were vandalizing the mural of Irina Zarutska that was privately paid for. It wasn't paid for by the city. I think it was paid for by Elon Musk, actually. All right, it was privately paid for. And they keep vandalizing it because actually they just hate white people. actually they just fucking hate our culture and want us destroyed. Actually, it seems. So I think a black guy screaming, "I got that white girl" after stabbing her to death was divisive. Yeah. So they're like, "Yo, we have to remove this mural." So not only does it get vandalized, but the actual government is trying to get it removed.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe, and we can both agree that this
David Morales
mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values.
It doesn't reflect the values? What values? It doesn't reflect mourning for a woman that was murdered by a psychopath on the subway in a racial murder that was literally done because she was white and there at the time. Well, what values does it not uphold?
Nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our.
He just condemns. He's condemning. This is like the most shocking thing I've ever seen. He says that it doesn't reflect the values to mourn for victims of drug addict retards, or maybe is it the black on white violence that you don't want to condemn? Is that it? Maybe that's it. I don't know. How does it not reflect your values? What values is it not reflecting? Holy shit! It gets even better.
Move the mural. It felt well, Emily, Jean, it's still here, but not for long. Artist Ian Goodrow tells me he's sad it's come to this point, but after calls from Mayor Smiley and other local leaders to remove the mural, it felt like only a matter of time before this happened.
The artwork is going to be removed.
Artist Ian Goodrow.
That's crazy.
News to NBC 10 Monday after.
This woman was murdered in a senseless murder, and we did this to memorialize her murder, and they're saying that doesn't represent the values of the city. Like, they want us to fucking die. Their values are killing us, and this doesn't represent the values because their values are they want us to fucking die. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Afternoon. The Irina Zarutska mural is coming down.
A lot of people voiced their frustrations, and voices were heard, and the work is coming down as a reaction to that.
Well,
yep, and that's where we're at as a society. Yeah, I guess. Now, to understand the way the leftoid mind works, I wanted to show you a couple of really, really good clips, all right? Just to understand exactly what we're dealing with, the people that are trying to kill us. All right, so this guy is a retard. This is incredible.
Say you're a judge, and you can make all the decisions you want. There's no penalty. You are shown a video that is deemed later inadmissible, which shows a man murdering his wife. This video is now inadmissible.
Why would it be inadmissible?
I don't know. This is a hypothetical.
Okay, it's
so
a very weird hypothetical.
The idea is you know someone committed a
Why
crime.
would the video be inadmissible?
The idea is to decide whether or not duty. You have a duty.
Give me an example.
Maybe it's inadmissible because they didn't include the piece of evidence on the docket and give the video to the defense beforehand. All right, that's an example of inadmissible. That the prosecutor refuses to show the evidence to the defense to review before the trial, and now they just whip it out at the trial. Therefore, it will be inadmissible. That's a hypothetical. All right, just understand. This is a feasible reality.
a certain
I'll give you okay, of what you're talking
How
about.
would you have felt?
Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm gonna
how,
bring
would,
up.
how would you have felt if you did not eat breakfast this morning?
All right, so then this dude asks him another hypothetical because obviously the guy cannot fathom a hypothetical at all. So he's like, how would you feel if you did not eat breakfast? Right? This is the most basic hypothetical of all time. The answer is I would feel hungry. All right?
Okay, hold on a second. Gonna go to Kyle Rittenhouse for a moment.
Wait,
Go
can we finish the hypothetical? How would you have felt? Can we finish the hypothetical?
Well, I didn't today, actually.
Well, I didn't today, actually. Absolute cinema. They cannot contend with hypotheticals because, you know, reality just doesn't work for these people, right? These people don't live in reality, all right? They don't at all live in reality. So why does imagining a different reality matter if this reality doesn't matter, all right? And it's every time, all right? This is another instance of leftists being wholesome. Jewish university student in Pittsburgh was attacked because he was wearing a Star of David. His attackers were Muhammad Kaur, Omar Al-Shami, Abraham Choudhury, Emirham Aslan, Ali Khalil, Adil Pirha, many such cases. Anyway, we just need to deal with this all the time, where these retards are coming in and they're fucking hating on our country.
Sneako's rage baiting me again today. It's not gonna work. Sneako's celebrating that like Haiti won the World Cup or whatever. He's like, take that, Italy. It's like, bro, what the fuck? So last week, Sneako was saying racial pride is evil. Why do you have pride in your country?
It's because he hates America. He hates the West. He just hates Western civilization. He's also a Muslim. It's a coincidence, probably.
And then the Brown Clowns win the third World Cup. They win the third World Cup. And he's pretending like he gives a shit about soccer. Yippee! Hip hip hooray! Haiti won the third World Cup. It's like, dude, just stop. Just stop. Give it a rest already. I'm not biting. Okay, I'll bite. I'm not biting on that. I'm just not even going to bite on the rage bait.
God, I love watching these alliances collapse.
Nico loves the third world so much. Why doesn't he go there?
Because no one wants to go there, because it's a shithole.
Doesn't he just... Someone needs to say it. Hey, pal, you got a big chip on your shoulder. You're another guy that hates white people. I was going to say, you're another one of these guys that hates white people, hates America. Hey, man, if Islam is so great, go fucking live in a country where they got Sharia law.
Yeah, and this is, no one wants to contend with this point, because obviously that's a shithole place. That sucks. This is the Austrian president, all right, understanding how badly we're actually getting conquered worldwide by these third worldists.
Jede Frau kann ein Kopftuch tragen.
Any woman can wear a headscarf.
Und wenn das so weitergeht, und damit bin ich schon bei der nächsten Frage, bei dieser tatsächlich sich
with Islamophobia becoming increasingly widespread. Oh my God, these people are all retarded.
Islamophobie wird noch der Tag kommen, wo wir alle
The
Frauen
day will come where we have to ask all women
bitten müssen, ein Kopftuch
to wear a headscarf.
zu tragen. Alle.
As solidarity with those
Solidarität gegenüber
who
jenen,
do so for religious reasons.
die es aus religiösen Gründen tun. Jede Frau.
Yeah, we're gonna have to shoot our way out of this one. This is unbelievable. With increasing Islamophobia, we may have to ask all women to wear a headscarf to show solidarity with those who do so for religious reasons. Yeah, we need a we're gonna need to shoot our way out of this one, boys. All right, now Alberta projected to schedule a referendum to secede from Canada this year with a 60% chance of them leaving Canada because they're just so fucking tired, bro, of the libtard bullshit. All right, so this is England bowing to Islam. All right, you know, you bring in the third world to kill us. They want to kill us, and then you literally defend them, and then you make our society bend to their whims as they try to kill us.
This has been a pretty big thing that's been going on. The BBC is now pushing anti-dog propaganda.
Are we all becoming too dog friendly? From coffee shops, restaurants, and retailers like IKEA, Zara, and John Lewis.
Private businesses.
Dog-friendly spaces are becoming easy to come by. There are 13.5 million pet dogs in the UK, and 36% of households own at least one dog. But people who are allergic to dogs or afraid of them.
No one fucking cares about the allergic to dogs. If you're allergic to dogs, you stay away from dogs. Right? You don't, wipe your nose in the dog's fur, okay?
Say that the rise of these dog-friendly spaces is a concern.
No, it's not. It's not a concern to anyone, unless you're a Muslim.
One woman with the extreme fear of dogs told the BBC that she feels trapped.
If you have a fear of dogs that's so bad that you can't go outside, you should just be institutionalized.
Bro!
If it's so debilitating that you can't even go and leave your house, then they should just put you in a padded room or something. That way, nothing bad happens to you.
And only goes out on special occasions due to the lack of dog-free zones. She's one of the many seeking support in online groups who offer advice on how to avoid them.
So people are really mad about this because they think that this is a psyop that's being pushed by them trying to normalize Islamic tradition.
There it is, boys. There it is. Obviously, it's because of Islam. Obviously, it's because these people are conquered. Obviously, it has nothing to do with the poor white woman that's scared of dogs and allergic. All right? Obviously, this is because Islam comes in large numbers. They demand fealty, and then the government folds because they want the Muslim vote. All right? And then they bring in more Muslims to get more Muslim votes. And then, then it happens. It happens, right? So the reality is, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Why? They're saying that they want to start banning dogs in England. They want to ban dogs in England because they want Muslims to vote for them. It's unbelievable. Which is why in Morocco they kill millions of dogs, and in Turkey they kill millions of dogs because Muslims hate dogs. Yep.
A lot of people that are Islamic are not fans of dogs. And
puts it mildly.
Think that now you're probably going to start seeing more people that are getting angry about this. At this point, it's no longer
If I have to choose between Islam and dogs, the answer is very obvious.
About acceptance, it's about control.
Coffee shop owner whose brand is underpinned by the dogs says that they're part of the family. What do you think?
If a foreigner doesn't want to live in a dog-loving country, I'll pay for their taxi to the airport myself.
God, I fucking love that guy.
So we have Keir Starmer.
Queer Stalin!
We've seen a devastating rise in Islamophobia.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Every time a Muslim kills somebody, I hear about Islamophobia before I hear about the victim. It's honestly unbelievable.
I've heard firsthand of women wearing hijab who are too scared to travel by public transport.
What if they're too scared to not wear the hijab?
The surge in Islamophobia is simply appalling. I do not want Britain to be a place where British Muslims are not able to be their whole selves.
I do. I want Britain to be a place where Muslims can't be their whole selves. You mean even the slit the kafar at the neck part of themselves?
Where they feel they must hide or tone down who they are. As leader of the Labour Party, I am indebted to the contributions of Muslim members, activists and politicians.
That's the
there
reason
it
why
is.
you're doing this.
There it is.
You want the votes.
Yeah.
You want
it's every time. These people are so fucking corrupt. It's like it's heartbreaking.
Import these people in, do what they say, then get them to vote for you as a racial or a religious bloc. That's the reason why.
Who make our party what it is today.
It's always about the votes.
I'd like to thank Muslim organisations and mosques who work tirelessly to raise awareness and shine a light on the scale of Islamophobia.
I think that the world is past the point where you can just condemn something and assign a label to it, then it automatically gets disregarded. This exploit has been overused by people like him. There is a frame of reference.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with the truth nuke. Literally no one fucking cares. All right, your labels mean nothing. It's anti-Semitic to no one cares. It's Islamophobic. No one fucking cares, man. Like literally literally no one cares. It's racist to notice crime statistics. All right, my guy. Whatever you say.
That people like this create, where they assign a label to something and then they expect that the other person now has to remove that label. I'm so tired of this. Call it racism, call it whatever the hell you want. That's still the way that people feel. And you don't get to just disregard and ignore the way everybody feels because you think that you can assign a word.
Well, actually, he does do that, actually. Exactly. That's exactly what he does.
To it. That just automatically makes it wrong. That's not the way the world works. Come up with a better argument.
Yeah, no, the reality is, though, he actually could do that. In fact, that's his entire policy. All right, Keir Starmer's policy is, I am going to do fucking nothing forever, and everything will get worse, but I will be very remembered as the guy who let it get worse. And that's what we need to deal with in today's society. The left is literally trying to fucking kill us. Whether it's immigration, whether it's through judges, whether it's through all this unbelievable metric fuck ton of bullshit, blaming us for Cuba falling apart. Like it's literally a gigantic campaign to demoralize and destroy us. And we're done. We're so done playing that game. George Floyd murals, right? You got George Floyd murals literally everywhere. They're protected. They're super safe, not vandalized. Every fucking state has like 14 bajillion of them because that dumb fuck retard career criminal decided to overdose on fentanyl. But Irina Zarutska, an innocent person, or an actual refugee from an actual war, instead of these infinite third worlders claiming to be refugees that are just looking for a better life and escape their shitholes, all right? Irina Zarutska was a real refugee, and she was murdered because our justice system let her get murdered, releasing a career criminal again and again and again and again. But that doesn't align with the values. It doesn't align with the values to remember Irina Zarutska. The criminal that overdosed, that aligns with their values a lot more. Well, that was the pussification of half of the world. I'm really glad that we got to do this deep dive today. I'm not super... I might be missing a couple of uploads over the next few days. I'm spending the Passover holiday with my family, and it's very lovely. But if some crazy shit happens, you could bet that I will absolutely be here for it. I really appreciate all your support. It's been super appreciated, honestly, doing all the deep dives, all the war coverage, all that stuff. You people have been absolutely phenomenal. Super appreciate you guys. Have yourself a wonderful one, and bye.